We're back with Judge Joe Brown. The plaintiff in this case says he is still madly in love with the defendant. Nonetheless, he is suing for a series of loans and pain and suffering due to an abortion. The defendant is countersuing for harassment. Let's listen in.
Now, you want her to pay you because she had an abortion and you were caused pain and suffering.
Well, sir, my major concern...
And mental anguish and all of that. Now, what is this about? Why do you think she should pay you for doing that?
My main concern here is first to set something straight and right. And mainly the money that I had lent her is I want back. Okay? The pain and suffering, my concern is that was just to make the note of having this and bring this to more of a righteous conclusion by having...
What do you mean by righteous conclusion?
Well, she was extremely cruel and mean. When she was having the abortion, when she went from loving me and telling me she wanted to be with me forever, and that she was sorry for the way she treated me all the time and her moodiness, and that she became so cold and became
How did
mean.
she become cold?
We were going to have our baby. Valentine's Day, she told me she was having our baby. And she said, what do you want to do? And I said, honey, I want us to be together and have a future together. And she said, that's great. She cried and said this was so important to her that I wanted this, and that, yes, she wants our future.
Somewhere along the line,
and then
she
2 weeks
decided
later,
to change her mind
right,
and have
2
an
weeks
abortion.
later, sir. 2 weeks later. She said, I don't care about you anymore. Get away. She went to a counselor who she sees. She wrote me a letter. She says, I know, because we had talked about, just a preference a little bit. Ever since we were dating, we had talked about, because she had some abortions previous to me dating, while she was still with her other husband. And I said to her, strongly and specifically, I said, I had a hard time even forgiving that. I didn't want to go on dating, even though I loved her.
So you made demands on her again?
Well, I didn't make demands, so I told her, just, you know, this is a relationship, and I said, look, I need to know...
This is what's going to be.
This is what's important to me. No, not what's going to be. No. But I said, this is what's important to me.
So how does that...
Well, she knew that when being with me meant that I couldn't stand for an abortion, and she had promised me she'd never do something like that in our relationship.
Well, she changed her mind, and she decided she did not want another child.
Right.
And particularly not out of wedlock, and maybe not with you for a number of reasons. But now, why don't you tell me...
Except that she promised to do that.
Well, she broke her promise. Now,
right.
Let me hear your version of facts.
The thing about the abortion and that I promised him I wouldn't have one while I was dating him, it was after we broke up anyway, so I did keep my promise.
It's just kind of strange, these things about it. He's always demanding, setting certain principles down. Tell me about that. Did you like that?
No, no. I felt like he wanted to change me into something he wanted me to be, not what I am. A lot of times he would want me to wear certain types of clothes, and he'd get mad if I wore my bike jacket. It's a black leather bike jacket. He'd get all jealous when I go out the door with that, thinking I was going out to see somebody or something. He wanted me to listen to certain kinds of music, didn't approve of mine.
It's kind of controlling, isn't it?
Yeah, and he said I had to read the paper every day, too. He said I should read the paper every day.
Okay, let's get to your harassment claim here.
I was at my sister's house in Madison when I told him that I didn't want to see him anymore.
What did he do?
Oh, we'd gotten a big argument on the phone, and then, of course, the stuff about the money came up.
Did he just come up one time, or would he let it go, or what?
No, no, definitely no.
What did he do?
He called back that same night, 2 o'clock in the morning, woke everybody up.
Then what did he do when you answered the phone, or you got on the line?
He wanted to try and talk to me and, you know, have me rethink all this, and didn't want me to have the abortion.
Did he call again?
Numerous times.
What do you mean by numerous?
I can't count. He
Give
called,
me an estimate.
I guess I'd have to say maybe 4 times, because you can only talk so long before the tape is used up.
Okay, you're saying he left messages?
Yeah. I told him not to call me. He called my relatives and tried to talk to them, and...
How long did this go on?
About a month and a half, 2 months.
You advised him not to call, is that right?
I went to the police. I've got the report right here.
Well, how long had this gone on before you went to the police?
I think 2 weeks, maybe a little longer. I was going to kind of wait it out. Then he was still calling one of my co-workers. He stopped in at work and demanded to see Rhonda so he could give her this letter. Would not leave until she came out.
And the letter you have?
I don't. I gave everything back to him.
The real important thing here, sir, is, and I know you're saying, well, it's harassment or I'm controlling. It wasn't that way at all, sir. One of the most poignant times was an example. We were laying in bed together, and I said, you know, this is really hard. I didn't trust anyone for a long time. And I said, tell me, you know, do you want a long-term relationship with me or not? If you want me to leave now, that's fine. I said, please tell me now. If you're uncomfortable, if you don't want to be with me forever, just tell me. She was more than willing to express deep love and desire to be with me forever.
But if you ever consider that maybe if you go overboard, you may not only defeat your purposes, you may actually turn someone against you.
Well, that's possible, sir, except that she would go from, which she admitted in letters, she would go from, she even wrote me, from my Valentine's card, for example, she wrote, I'm sorry for the way I treat you. She goes like, she's suffering from severe depression.
Well, do you get the idea that maybe she was getting fed up with what you were doing to her, continuously demanding
I wasn't
this, demanding that, stating this,
sir,
requiring this?
It wasn't demanding, it wasn't, I didn't go and say, you better be here, or you better get tires, or you better love me, because if
you better love me.
I did not say that, that's the point.
Judge Joe Brown continues after this.
Did you do this kind of thing to her on a regular basis and belabor points like this? Did he do that?
Endlessly talk on and on.
Have you ever heard the words anally retentive?
Yes, sir.